I grew up, when I became a young adult, not a full-on adult like I am now, but a younger version of this.
Your number was out of the teens, but that doesn't mean you're
like
really
I was
an
out
adult.
of my parents' house, but I lived with my sister and brother-in-law for a period of time, and I would remember being like tired or grumpy or frustrated. And what I would do would not be tell anybody, like, I'm really, like, I don't know why I'm just so frustrated now. I would just verbalize that frustration to no one but myself, knowing they could hear me. Like, this is just so ridiculous. Like, everybody's being so loud down there. And downstairs in the basement, I can hear them. They're being so loud. I'm trying to take it out. Can't even sleep. But I knew they could hear me. But I also, this is my family of origin. I knew they wouldn't respond. So it's like a way of letting off steam, knowing that there's no repercussion for it. Just like, you guys are so annoying. So that's how I would communicate. I would communicate to myself in your presence so that you can hear me and hopefully self-correct yourself. I'd forgotten I did that. I didn't know you would love it so much.
Oh my
gosh. Just so you know, it did not work with Brian. He didn't like it at all. He has not let me do that, I think, one time. I don't know that I've done that for 20 years now. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know it was strange. It just seemed appropriate.
Oh my gosh. Which is exactly why you have to learn how to deal with your emotions and your bad habits in a community.
Because nobody else will tell you.
It's like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
I did for a number of years.
Which is the
number of years.
It's the exact opposite of what I would do. I am not going to say one word about how annoyed I am with you. You will just know it in my silence and my sighs. And I will come in and say, hello. And
hold on a second. You just told us just a couple of minutes ago that your sighs mean nothing.
Most of the time they do.
Oh.
Because a lot of times a lot of times I just hold my breath.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like
yeah, you don't breathe well, actually.
No, I don't. I hold my breath, and then I'll just take a deep breath and sigh it out, and it really means
So what's the
nothing.
difference between a breathing sigh and an I'm angry at you sigh?
You will know.
Okay, that's fair enough. Oh, baby.
I'd like to know what Brian did when the first time you did that to him.
Oh man, we'd have to bring him on because I don't know. And part of me probably still does it a little bit. You know, like some things, old habits die hard. There's got to be times where I'm just like, I can't believe nobody's doing the dishes. I'm sure I do. As far as I've come, I'm sure I do.
I do a lot of guilt trips. And some of my kids receive more guilt trips than others. And
I thought you were going to say receive them better. So like they get to work.
No, they receive, they're on the receiving end of more guilt trips than others. And deservedly so. I mean,
I don't think you can say that.
If you knew them, you'd agree.
I don't think you could say someone deserves a guilt trip more than someone else. Go ahead.
When they continually don't do what you ask them to do, yes, they need a guilt trip.
No, they don't. They need discipline.
They need sarcasm and guilt. It is the only way to get my point across is sarcasm and guilt.
It's a good thing this is the last episode of this season because we might get canceled. They need discipline, but carry on.
Well, I was just going to say, like you expressing your frustration to no one, just to the air.
Or to myself, too.
I will express my frustration, but I usually express it in sarcasm.
Okay.
So this is how you think the dishes should be done. This is how you think. Oh, the 0 on your homework means that you finished it and turned it in. You know.
Do you ever feel like we started a podcast 6 seasons ago because we had a few things to share, a few opinions, and now we're just like we're just hot messes.
We're getting better.
We're getting better or we're getting worse. I'm not sure. We're starting to recognize who we really are.
Yeah, we're more self-aware than we were 6 seasons ago. 6 seasons ago, we thought we had it all together, and then the more we talk, the more we realize,
the worse it gets.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done.
That is the thing, is that when you discover all this stuff about who you are and why you do the things that you do, and you walk around airing your frustrations
to the air,
and I am holding it all in just with giving you glances and sighs that you better read my mind.
Right.
There's a reason why we do the things that we do. And when you figure out how ridiculous you are
I don't know. Okay. Truth be told, I don't know if you figure it out without friendship and community, because I knew what I was doing was wrong, but not to the extent that you would cackle like you just did. Like now I'm just like, I can't believe I used to do that all the time. And now I'm even thinking like, what other areas do I still do that in? Because I'm going to fix that. But you don't even know, you're blind to it.
Right. And probably if I would have been in a room with you and we would have been roommates, and you were doing that to me, I probably wouldn't have thought it was funny at the time.
Oh, no.
My feelings would have gotten hurt, and I would have been annoyed.
You would have quietly sighed at me, and we would have just kept on going.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have read the cues because I was venting. And this is probably why I got in trouble at the gym for complaining, because I was probably doing that. I'm probably doing that.
Just venting.
Does anybody know how hard this is?
Just giving your trainer looks, and he's thinking and he's saying to you, knock it off, your bad attitude, which is what you need to hear.
Oh my goodness. Maybe so.
There's so many things that I don't know if you know it when you're young. That's the thing. I mean, are you mature enough to even see it? And do you have the relationships to even see it and say, hold up, this is crazy?
No, you don't. You don't. You don't. In fact, Brian and I were just talking today. We were driving in the car together, and it was interesting. I don't even remember how it came out, but he was saying, we were talking about how, we live in a broken world and everyone is broken, and that manifests in a million different ways. And, we're all striving to become more like Jesus and to fix those broken parts of ourselves. But somehow we started talking about our kids, raising our kids, and like how we're going to have to really remember this when our kids fall in love and get married. That we're going to then just be bringing another person into the family that is also broken, that came from a different family of origin, that has a different broken way of dealing with things, and really cut people some slack as everyone grows up and matures, because everyone will do it different. Have you ever heard this? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, have you ever heard this story? I remember one of my mentors in ministry used to tell this story when doing leadership training, and it was like, his grandmother always, and it wasn't his personal story, but his grandmother always made pot roast on Sunday, and she'd always trim off the end of the pot roast and put it in the oven. And so then, the next generation is always making their pot roast and trimming off the end and put it in the oven. And then a couple generations later, somebody's like, Mom, why do you always trim off the end of the pot roast? She's like, well, that's just how you do it. It's just what you do. So they traced it back and found out that the great-grandmother's oven was small, and
her
roaster
pan was too small.
So she was trimming it off to fit it in the pan so it would go in the oven. But it just became what they did. Yeah. And that's how we are as well, are the things that we're raised around, what becomes normal to us. Like, you thought it was hilarious that I would go around venting. Well, I guarantee you somebody else did that in front of me. Surely I didn't come up with that all by myself.
Oh, no, of course you didn't. But it's hilarious to me because I look at my family, which this is the way that you grew up, was you don't say anything about how annoyed you are with someone or whatever. You just let it sit until it goes away, which it never really goes away.
You know what's interesting? As you say that, I can even realize how it came out. my dad being so domineering, you couldn't say anything about it. Once he got angry, like, you could joke with him. He's fun and lighthearted, but if he gets angry about anything, shut it down, be quiet, don't talk back, don't share your opinion, don't share your emotion, sit, listen, move on. But when he left the room,
then you could
be like, well, Dad. And so I do think that's probably where it maybe first was birthed in me, is like, you just wait till the offended person is far enough away, and then you just tell everybody how you're really feeling. But you do it disrespectfully and mumbling. And
you know what? You sent me a screenshot of an Instagram post of somebody doing a reel that they're watching the airline. I want to say stewardess, but I know that that's outdated.
The flight attendant. Yeah,
they're watching the flight attendant do the show.
This is how you buckle your safety belt.
Yeah.
You pull this. Got a hair on there.
And the reel is of them watching the flight attendant, because they don't want the flight attendant to feel bad that nobody's watching them. Which you were like, people care about what the flight attendant
who cares?
So this is a way around to say what I want to say. But I responded, I do, because I feel bad for the flight attendant that nobody is paying attention to them. And I want them to know that I care about you, and I'm going to watch. Even though I don't need to know any of this stuff, it's not going to matter anyway. If the plane goes down, none of this is going to help. But I want you to know I care about you doing your job, so I'm going to watch. But here's how I get to that.
Okay.
I think about, there's things that I want to say to people sometimes, like, when you said that, it hurt my feelings.
Sure.
And I don't know how to say that without thinking, I'm going to say this to them and it's going to hurt their feelings. And I really want to learn how to be able to say to people, it's bothering me that you do and say this, to me. But it's, I don't even know the answer to this, but it's learning for me how to figure out my emotions. My go-to is to not say anything. How do I express myself in authentic relationship?
Here's what I'm thinking, and I don't know if this
See if you can interpret my...
Well, this is what I'm thinking. The key to everything that you just said, in my opinion, is authentic relationship. Because I even think there's something, and I don't know if I was really hurt by someone confronting me with something at some point a long time ago. I don't know, but I get very nervous when somebody wants to confront me. Even if you were to come to me and say it very nicely, I feel very nervous. I feel like I failed you. I feel like, oh, my true self, because typically I'm not in it to hurt you for the most part. So if you come to me, like, let's say it's you and I, Heather, and you come to me and say, I need to tell you something really hurt me, then I start to feel guilty and I start to feel bad and I start to feel like, well, I never meant for that to hurt her and now I'm a terrible person. Then I self-sabotage and I hurt myself because all of this is unhealth. But you and I are in real authentic relationship. So if you come to me and say that to me, Heather, and you already know this about me, then you can say, I can already tell you you're not going to like hearing this, but I need to do it for me. Then I can let my guard down because I trust you with my heart.
Yeah.
And then you can practice here's what was bothering me, and you can grow from it. I can receive it because you protected my heart. I think a lot of these things that we talk about on the podcast, things that we're learning, whether it's in counseling or messages at church or COTMU, things we're learning, we're able to bounce back and forth because we're learning them together and we're in real community together. And I do want everyone to walk in the little steps with us, but you're going to need some real authentic community, because if you just walk up to someone off the street and say, hey, I just got healthy enough to finally confront you with all the things you've done to hurt me, I don't know that it's going to go well.
Yeah.
I think it's community, and it's authentic community, and spending the time to build the relationship to earn the trust so that you can do it. Now, workplace conversations, that's different. I'm talking because workplace, you have to confront errors in productivity or your company can't be successful. I'm talking about friendship, relationships. Sometimes I do think you have to bite your tongue and wait until you have earned the right and the relationship to confront something. Otherwise, you're just a big bad bully. It's just mean.
I guess my next question is.
Oh, did you ask a question earlier?
Kind of not. But I mean, my next question would be, how do I practice what I'm learning? So let's go back to my enabling.
Okay.
In real, authentic community. How do I practice that in community? Because I can sit in my counselor's office and talk about what an enabler I am all day long, but it's not going to cause me to relearn and quit enabling. So then, and looking at myself and realizing I have bad emotional health, I have bad habits of communicating and relaying with people, my, just different frustrations in relationships and things like that. That authentic community to practice this in. What's my question? Where am I going?
I think your question was, how do you practice this? Or where are you safe to practice this?
I mean, where do I, so am I enabling? And so now I've told you that I'm an enabler and this is a problem. So I need you to hold me accountable to.
I think it probably is a two-way street. I don't live with you. So I can hold you accountable to what I see and notice, but I'm probably not there in some of the instances. But I think this is all scriptural. The Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors. So I believe that the Holy Spirit can get your attention and make you feel a check, like, I'm not sure about this. And then I think that's your indicator, like, I go to my safety in a multitude of counselors. I bounce it off of Whit. I bounce it off of Jamie. I say, maybe you've already done it or you're getting ready to do it. I'm getting ready to do this and I'm just feeling a little angst about it. I think it's the Holy Spirit. What do you say in this situation? And you let people speak into it. Like, I think that's the beauty in having friendship is we're not going to be there all the time, but you have told us, I'm now knowing I have this tendency, and you're not wanting to stay stuck in that. So then you're going to have to still continue to reach out. So you've already told people, but then you have to reach out for help when you're sensing those situations coming. I mean, like, if I was with you 24 hours a day, I could be like, hey, hold on a second. We're not going to do that for you. You over there, do your own stuff or, whatever. But I think you're just walking through life and you sense that's the beauty of being a Christ follower. We haven't talked a lot this season about our faith, but for both of us, that's integral to who we are. And so as Christ followers, we do have a guide on the inside that's going to bring things to our attention, things that we've learned in counseling or wherever, and give us the opportunity to. It seems so hard if you're just trying to figure all of this out on your own. Counseling or therapy or this book that we've read or all the information available to us that we need to learn and grow in is all good. But it can be too much and too good and overwhelming, but God. But that right now is where I want you to focus on this. And then all throughout the Word, He shows us how do we focus on it. So I feel like we can do this. I feel like we can cut out your enabling just like that. Just get some scissors and cut it right out.
I'm cured.
No problem. But seriously, I do bet there are things that you're making decisions on that you just feel like, I'm not sure what decision to make here. And I just trust the Holy Spirit in you to say, Heather, this is where you tend to enable. And then you bounce it off of Whit or you bounce it off of a friend or whatever. I think we can do this. I think it's the same with, with depression. We're doing that mid-sized group on depression and anxiety. And the actual teacher of the study is a pastor from a very well-known church in Alabama. But Brian and I are kind of reteaching the message each week so that it's somebody that the people know what we go through versus this man that you don't know. But his teaching is really good, so they can also watch that as a supplement. But he was saying something about how when you're tempted to isolate, which is a sign of depression, when you're tempted to isolate, you're the worst person to give yourself advice in that moment. So Brian was like, did you hear that? Like right now, while we're all in a healthy place, did you hear that? because I'm going to help you in those situations, but I need you to acknowledge that my help is needed. Like right now, while everybody's healthy, let's acknowledge. And I think that's how we get past enabling or depression or anything else. Like right now, while I'm feeling fine, I want you to know I might have to tap you and offer some help, and I need you to receive it in that moment, or I might have to tap you and ask for help, and I need you to be ready.
Yeah.
So I'm totally ready. If I start feeling low or anything, Brian is going to remind me that I'm the worst person to give myself advice, and I'm going to listen to him. He's going to love it.
And now that you know these red flags to
Right.
look for, now he knows and he can see, oh, hang on, something's happening here.
Right.
And talk you off the ledge.
I know. I mean, I'm tired of being on the ledge, honestly.
Yeah.
So, because when I do well, I'm doing so well. Like, why would you don't want to be on a ledge. So, looking for those signs that lead me toward the ledge, we can go ahead and pull me away before I am like standing on the edge of the bridge. Good grief.
Good grief.
Good grief. So, we've just shared all this valuable information.
Yeah.
But do you realize, I don't know if you realize this when you walk in to record, but did you know this is our last episode of this season? Heather, we started this season saying we were going to talk about joy, and I'm not certain that we ever talked about joy, but we did laugh. We laughed a lot. Every episode, I cackled every single episode. And
there weren't a lot of tears.
There weren't a lot of tears, and there was a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes joy comes in unexpected ways. We still talked about some pretty serious stuff, but we were able to laugh at ourselves. And
You have to be able to laugh at yourself. I mean, if you're not laughing at yourself, then
somebody else is.
Somebody else is.
Don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not.
Maybe behind your back.
Somebody's always laughing. You may as well join them.
The more that you realize what's going on in your life and these unhealthy patterns that you had or these crazy things that you used to do when you were a young adult.
I would say you need to have a friend that can laugh at you so that then you can learn to laugh at yourself, because you don't know you're funny. Like, I don't know that I'm funny sometimes.
And then somebody to tell you that you're ridiculous, and then you better be able to laugh about it.
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise you have this tape playing of, I'm terrible. Oh, I did it again. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I'm the most embarrassing, worst person in the whole wide world.
Oh, my goodness.
That's not your tape?
No.
Well, some people might have that tape.
I have my own tape, but it's not usually that.
Well, you have it just like, oh, you did it again. You're down on yourself.
Sure.
To realize this is hilarious.
Yeah.
When you really listen to yourself, for me, listening to my sighs, listening to my sarcasm, okay, come on, grow up.
Oh my goodness, wow. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and we're going to continue to laugh and to grow, and maybe we would like you to do the same. So in order for me, Heather, to laugh and to grow, I have to spend time with you, because the people in my house are not that funny. They're not. It's hard at home sometimes, parenting and all the things. Brian's pretty funny. But I would encourage our friends to find your community. In fact, we had a whole season talking about how to find and maintain friendships. You can go back and listen to that, but find your community. Find the people that you can tap when you need help, that you can really lean into, and continue to go on this journey with us. Does that seem fair?
Absolutely.
Okay. Like we have been doing, and it's fun to do that. There's the joy in it, right?
There is.
Okay.
Listen, I would say as you are going throughout the rest of
Your
this
life.
season, spring,
Today.
it's busy. There's a lot of things going on, whatever stage of life you're in, and you are meeting people. Hopefully you're out meeting people, or maybe you start a new hobby. It's spring. Go to a gardening workshop if you need
I'm
to,
not
or
doing it.
something.
I'm going to go to the gym. It's okay.
As you meet people,
Yeah.
take a step and invite them to go do something with you.
Yeah.
If you meet somebody and you're like, hey, I kind of like you, be bold and meet some people. Build a community. It's not going to happen on its own. You really have to work to build that, to invite people into relationship with
I had
you.
one of the most meaningful experiences just recently with one of my friends from the gym, because she knows I'm a believer, and she asked me to pray for someone that was having transplant surgery or what have you. And I did. Like, she stopped. We were leaving the gym. She's like, roll down your window. He just got a lung. Like, it's not a family member, but a close anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's say a friend. He just got along. And so I was like, okay. And so when she asked me to pray, I stopped and I prayed right then because I thought if I don't pray right now, I might forget. And then what a terrible person I am. I'm going to pray for your friend. And I never do. But I did. I typed out what I prayed and I sent it to her. I wanted her to know I really did pray. And then through some wild situation, she and her daughter actually prayed my prayer over him.
Oh, wow.
And he and his family were touched. And she told me, and then I was touched. And then, he has this successful lung transplant. Now he's doing well and he's alive and he's living and I just felt like I played a part in that. And we grew closer. And all it was we go to the gym at the same time every day. Every day. We're always there together every day.
She invited you into her life.
She did. And I just said yes.
Yeah.
And it was easy. And it wasn't like, we didn't even go to coffee. We didn't go to lunch. We didn't do anything. Like she rolled down her window. I rolled down my window and I said, I'm there for you. Rolled the window up. And then I decided to really be there for her. I was like, I don't want her to think, did Jamie pray or not? So I prayed and sent it to her. And it just turned into this really beautiful, I feel like we're doing life together in a different way. And it was easy. And I didn't even have to go gardening. So, I mean, maybe you want a garden story, Heather.
All of that to say that we all are looking for community. Everyone needs it, is looking for it. You can't live without it. You can't grow without it. So as you are encountering people, they might be inviting you in, or you might need to invite them in, but you have to take those opportunities as they come.
That's so good. Heather, I often have people say like they wish they had what we have. And what we have is really special. It's really special. But hopefully you don't take offense to this. Oh, great. I hope I don't hurt your feelings. Yeah. Okay. We're going to practice this in front of everybody. Hope I don't hurt your feelings when I say this. Heather's not enough for me. You're not enough for me. Sorry.
It's okay.
You're just not enough.
That's true.
Brian is not enough. My kids are not enough. But I have a very beautiful community, and then there's still room for the girl at the gym that says, hey, will you do? I mean, people are looking for community, myself included. I mean, we're looking for the people that show up and have a word in season for us. And so they're all around you, and you're one of the people. So, okay, so find some people, love on some people, let people love on you.
Absolutely,
let people be your community. Sometimes we want community, but we just brush people off. So let's be kind. Okay, we're going to end with a question from our game because I can't think of that one's way too big of a question. It's like it said, define your perfect day. Do you want me to read that question?
No, it's fine.
Seems like so big for an ending segment.
I don't think you'd like my perfect day.
I can't read this one because I read it last week and it affected what shoes I grabbed today because it says, what do my shoes tell you about me? And I almost wore the same shoes today that I wear all the time. And then I thought, well, that one card made me think maybe I should add anyway.
She's going to read all the cards.
Okay. Okie dokies.
My turn.
Okay, that's fine. I can read these. It's just, okay. I know. See, it's harder than you think. It's harder than you think.
Ask a question you've never asked before.
This is the problem with an external processor. I say everything that crosses my mind. Everything. Good, bad, and otherwise.
What song makes you think of me?
I'm not really great with songs. Like I can't. Eleanor tried to play this game with me the other day. She's like, tell me your favorite song by the title and I'll see if I can sing part of it or whatever. And it's like, I go completely blank. Completely blank. I have 0 songs in my head.
Okay. What made you smile today?
Oh my gosh, I smiled at myself because I told you a very innocent story about how I behaved as a young adult. And you cried. You cried tears of laughter.
I am going to keep laughing about that for weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Weeks.
Well, that's what made me smile is seeing how much joy my dysfunction could bring to you all these years later.
I'm just going to keep thinking about you telling off the air.
I think I might still do it. What made you smile today?
You,
My dysfunction.
obviously.
Obviously. You guys, we've had a great season with you on Life in Motion. We hope you'll join us back after a short break. We're going to go on a short break and we're going to see you back here in just a few weeks or months. Thank you. And we love you and we'll see you soon. Have a good day.